You know, when you listen to TK from Ling to Sigure, it's pretty clear you're not just hearing some random guitar parts. Nope. What you're hearing is a choice, a decision. It's this whole sonic world, and it's been built from the ground up, piece by meticulous piece.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are putting on our hard hats and grabbing the blueprints to really break down the sound of one of modern rock's most, truly unique guitar players. Yeah, we're going to talk about the gear, of course, but what's way more interesting is the philosophy, the thinking behind every single choice.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into his sonic blueprint, his whole philosophy. Then we'll look at the foundation, his guitars and amps. After that, we'll dive into how he layers gain and creates those huge ethereal spaces with delay. And finally, we'll talk about how you can take these ideas and become a sonic architect yourself. All right, let's get right into it. The sonic blueprint. See, before we even touch a pedal or talk about an amp, we got to get inside his head a little bit. This is about understanding the one big idea that drives everything he does. It's not about gas, gear acquisition syndrome. It's about having a real mission for your sound. And that mission is right here. Layering without killing the original sound. Think about that for a second. Every single piece of gear, every pedal, has a very specific job. Its job is to add a layer, a new color, a new texture, but, and this is the key, without totally covering up what's underneath. He wants you to hear the raw attack of the pick on the string, that core guitar sound, even when there's a hurricane of effects swirling around it. It's all about preserving that initial nuance. Okay, so with that philosophy locked in our minds, let's talk about the foundation. We're talking about the guitars and amps, the very source of that core tone he's so careful to protect. So his choice of guitar is never random. It's always about the texture he's going for in a song. If he needs that sharp, almost surgical cutting tone for those crazy technical riffs, you'll see him with his signature Schecter Telly. But then, for a totally different feel, like super clear fingerpicking, he'll switch to a Taylor acoustic. And for those moments when the sound just needs to be huge and almost otherworldly, that's when the Taylor 12-string comes out to play. Each one is a different tool for a different job. Now, his amp setup is a perfect example of this whole architect idea. He doesn't just plug into one amp and call it a day. No way. He's running two. The Fender Twin Reverb, that's his clean platform. It's super pristine, super transparent, it's the blank canvas. But sometimes you need a little more weight, a bit more character, right? That's where the Fender Vibrosonic comes in. It adds this thickness in the low mids, giving the sound some real crunch and body. But again, without sacrificing that core clarity. All right, foundation set. Now let's talk about the grit, the distortion. This is where things get really interesting. Because he doesn't just have one heavy sound. He builds his gain in layers, like a painter adding shades to a canvas. Each pedal has a very specific role. So check this out. It's a 3-layer system. Layer 1 is the bass tone, his Vimarem Jan Ray. This thing is pretty much always on. It's not for heavy distortion. It's for shaping the core sound and making the amp feel more responsive. Then, when he needs that main rhythm crunch, he kicks on a modified Boss OD3. That's his high-res distortion. And finally, for solos or when he needs to go completely over the top, he steps on the Barbarossa Gargoyle. That's the high-gain beast for lead lines and getting some really cool controlled feedback. So why does this matter for you, the guitarist watching this? Well, here's the big takeaway. By layering a few low to medium gain pedals, you get so much more control and clarity than just cranking a single high gain pedal to 10. It's how he can play these complex, beautiful chords with tons of distortion, and you can still hear every single note ringing out. It's the definition of controlled chaos. Okay, we've got the foundation, we've got the gain, but now we get to the part of TK's sound that is just absolutely signature. The ethereal space, the delays. This is how he crafts those incredible soundscapes. I mean, you have to wonder, right? How does one person with one guitar create a sound that is so vast and atmospheric? It sounds like a whole room full of guitar players sometimes. Well, the answer isn't just one magic delay pedal. It's a multi-stage, kind of weird, and totally brilliant approach to using them. And here it is. The secret is all in the order of the pedals. Most of us, right, we put our delays at the very end. But look at this. He has delays before his distortion and after it. So that first layer, a zoom multi-stomp,
is actually feeding ambience and pitch-shifted sounds into his drive pedals. That means the repeats themselves get distorted, which is wild. Then the Eventide H9 handles the main clear rhythmic delays you hear, and at the very end of the whole chain, he's got a digidelay that just adds this final, long, modulated wash that kind of smears everything together beautifully.
So we've basically deconstructed the whole blueprint, right? We've seen the philosophy, we've seen the layers of gain and delay. So now, for the fun part, let's talk about how you can start thinking like a sonic architect with your own gear. And spoiler alert, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars.
Look, you don't need all the boutique stuff to apply these concepts. That Vemorum Jan Ray he uses as his always-on pedal, a classic Boss BD2 blues driver does a very similar thing, that transparent, touch-sensitive overdrive. Can't afford an Eventide H9? A modern digital pedal like the Nux Atlantic gives you powerful, programmable delay and reverb in one box. It's about the role, not the brand. And really, that's the main takeaway from all of this. It's not about the specific gear. It's about the role each piece of gear plays. So the lesson here is to stop chasing brand names and start thinking like a designer. Look at your pedal board and ask, what is this pedal's job? What is its purpose? Is it a foundation? Is it a texture? Is it for that one crazy moment in a solo? You gotta design with intent. With TK, every single thing is intentional. Every cable, every knob turn, it's all part of a larger plan, building towards this incredible final structure. His sound is the ultimate proof that a pedal board can be more than just a random collection of cool boxes. It can be a genuine piece of sonic architecture. So the only question left is, what blueprint are you going to design? Thanks for watching.